Another season is upon us. What was it like before Iowa Western had a football team, or soccer teams, or wrestling teams, or bowling, everything? You get the idea. It's been a decade of growth for the IWCC Athletics Department, and we are set to keep sailing forward. It's time to get an up-close and in-depth look at Week 1 in Reaver Country. The Reavers face the Red Ravens of Coffeyville on a Thursday under the lights. All the highlights and more on this edition of the Iowa Western Football Coaches Show. It's known as the Stroh Show, and it's next on Iowa Western's Reaver Sports Network. From the studios of IWTV in Council Bluffs, it's conference play in Week 2 and a big chance for the Reavers to seize early season control. I'm Jake Ryan, along with head coach Scott Strohmeyer. Coach, early season, we've seen these games be played later in the season, but with only 3 teams in the conference, this game becomes that much more important to kind of seize, and it's a place where you guys have never seen the wrong side of the scoreboard, but Iowa Central's up and coming. You know they'll be ready for you on this particular date. For sure.
You know, like I said, with 3 teams, it determines the region championship. It determines what bowl, if you play in the Graphic Edge Bowl, which bowl game you go into. Sure. So, you know, you'd like to have those at the end of the season, not your second game of the year, but that is what it is.
And number 2 and number 14 going to work. Let's take a look at the highlights from Dodger Stadium in Fort Dodge, Iowa. The Reavers rolling out with Landon Marshall leading the way. Is that rain gear? What is that, a robe he's got on in that picture?
Rain jacket.
Cam Thomas starts things off, hands off to Zaquandre White. And what was it about today especially that just had Zaquandre finding wide open holes? One of several big runs in the day for number 6.
Yeah, well, one, we did a good job up front, you know, giving him some, he was running hard, and you give him a crease or give him a good lane, he makes guys miss.
Now, last year at Florida State, he was a linebacker. They played him as a linebacker. You guys end up having to settle for the long field goal by Chase Contreras, and the redshirt freshman from Mo Valley knocks it down. Pretty impressive. Yeah, but talk about Zaquandre and the linebacker.
Well, they moved him in there. It just fit in their scheme probably a little bit better, and he's pretty good there too, but he wants to play running back.
Iowa Central gets a field goal and then comes up with the special teams play, a block punt out of the back of the end zone. So now 5-3, and Iowa Central back to work here in the first quarter.
Yeah, you know, we didn't play well in special teams all day, and you know, like we had just little errors, just mental errors of assignments, and it gives them creases.
And that crease got him into the end zone. 12-3, and then, well, back to number 6. After the kickoff, couple yards here for Zaquandre, no problem. Cam Thomas, he's got to be chased out of the pocket. He'll pick up another 7 yards on this play, and it's 3rd and 1. And who do you call? The big back, number 6. Just need a yard. How about 58 of them? Zaquandre all the way down inside the Iowa Central 10-yard line, finally brought down from behind. What a run. Obviously, he's gassed, and then the next play, his replacement, Brian Sneed, picking up the reward after Zaquandre does the hard work, 8 yards for the touchdown.
For sure. I mean, it's good, you know, to answer back, and you know, there we had a little formation with 4 tight ends in the game, and just getting a body on a body and get the score.
Devin Drew, his parents were in the crowd watching the game. He picks up the quarterback sack, and then let's do it again, shall we? Perrion Winfrey, the boogeyman, gets in the backfield for another QB sack.
Well, and I thought, you know, this was kind of going to be the turn for us. You know, we finally got out of the hole, and being behind, you know, when we were behind, we got ahead, and defense is picking up. But we had a stretch there. We were playing pretty good.
Moving on into the second quarter, Ben Sorensen, Neola Tri-Center product, getting some action on the QB sack list, and another one for number 6. Zaquandre, just a piece of the jersey, slows him down enough to make the tackle.
Yeah, you know, we're running the ball. I mean, I think at the end of the day, I don't know what we finished with, but we're running the football with having a lot of success doing it.
And slinging it out to the big tight end, Lou Dorsey, with the big gainer, and then Brian Sneed tiptoes into the end zone. Reavers take the lead, 17-12.
Yeah, same play, you know, as the time before. So that one came in pretty good. You know, it's good to get, like I said, the running game and Brian getting a couple touchdowns.
And then Iowa Central going with the option look. Unusual, but I guess trying to keep your front four from making too much of a dent. But they come up with the big play there.
Yeah, you know, we have to. We just got to be consistent across the board. There's just too many opportunities that we miss.
Sneed on the carry. Here's another one from Zaquandre White, who gets near midfield. Iowa Central says they stripped it away, and the officials call it down as it was. Ball came out after the contact was made, and then They throw to the near side, picked off by Iowa Central. One of a pair of interceptions on the day. The only 2 turnovers on the day between either squad.
Yeah, that one's just a communication. Wide receiver, not a great decision on the throw, and we can't have those in tight games.
Cam Thomas on the move. We saw number 23 for Iowa Central. We've got a Florida State, Ohio State transfer for the Reavers, and then the Michigan transfer for Iowa Central. Nice run again. Big chunks of yards for number 6.
Yeah, I'll tell you what. Like I said, we're right there. If we can run the football like this, you're going to win a lot of games. And we got to get away from doing this on 4th down, but we got to give a better opportunity.
Yeah, Snead saw the pressure coming, tried to reverse it back, and it was just too much. And then another good chunk of field position for Iowa Central. They'll take advantage. First play from scrimmage, they get it down inside the 15, and then it'll be their quarterback, DeMarcus Irons, strolling into the end zone, gives them a lead late in the first half.
Again, it was an alignment error that gave them the first down on that 3rd and long, and then they had a good job of scheming that last play for a touchdown.
Devin Drew with another tackle for the Reavers, and then you guys, it worked in the first half. Might as well go with it in the second half. Zaquandre, another good rip, a first down for Iowa Western, and then Cam again just flushed out of the pocket all day long, and then chucking it down as the clock expires. This one going out of bounds, and you go into the half down a point, 18-17. What were your thoughts leading into the halftime?
Well, I thought we made some poor mistakes, some penalties. Obviously, the special teams there. We controlled the first half. Rushing the football and probably having the ball, but it comes down to, in big games or tight games, you can't make a mistake on 4th and 1. You can't make a mistake on 3rd and 15 and align miscorrectly or incorrectly, and those things will get you behind.
Another tense game at halftime in week 2. We'll get your second half highlights in just a moment. We've got more Stroh Show coming your way on Iowa Western Television's Reavers Sports Network.
Sometimes the things we do or say can make others feel hurt, excluded, or isolated. Everything you say and do creates an impact.
How am I supposed to save the whole world?
You can't think about saving the world. You have to think about saving one person.
Because of you, someone's entire life can change. You don't have to be a superhero to have a positive impact.
Friends?
Friends.
Here you go.
Thank you.
Thank you.
From the IWTV studios, I'm Jake Ryan, along with the head coach of the Iowa Western Reavers, Scott Stroh. All right, Coach, you are breaking off long runs. You're making some hard hits on defense overall at first half. What were you saying? If we had this, this score would be totally different as you come into the second half trailing by a point.
Like I said, I mean, to me, it was mental. We had some mental bus, that, again, something so small of you don't shuffle, squeeze, and you come up the field by a step and they break the run for you, or we don't pick up a blitz on 3rd and 1 on an outside zone. They run through and they get us for a tackle for loss. And so, I mean, it was just kind of really shoring up some things. It felt really good. We had to throw the football. The passing game was non-existent for us really in the first half. So I knew we were going to have to throw because they weren't just going to let us run power at them the entire game. So, we had to come up with some things that try to fit our QB. Cam was banged up, so it limited some of the things we could do. But we just have to execute.
It was a pretty consistent rain in the first half. Did that have anything to do with the way that you were able to execute the passing game?
Yeah, no, I mean, it wasn't, I think the field conditions, even on turf was matted down before that, and, we slipped a few times there, but the rain really didn't, affect too much what we were going to try to do.
All right, let's take a look at those second half highlights. Iowa Western trails Iowa Central 18-17, getting loose before the second half begins as the Reavers will come out giving the ball to Iowa Central. They took the opening toss, and here it is, the kick return that starts second half action. Pretty good tackle by Tucker Cruz in the open floor, or in the open court.
Really good. You pin them now inside the 15-yard line. It's a good way to start the second half.
DeMarcus Irons, their QB, Eastern Kentucky transfer, as he continued to try to sling it around. You see Ben Sorensen jump on this play. It would have been a pretty good jump. Instead, it's going to be a good run and then tack on a face mask afterwards as they try to get him at the line, and great surge from your Reaver front four here.
Yeah, to answer that back, again, you jump off sides, you give him a long run, then you combat that problem with a 15-yard penalty, and and again, they caught us in a thing. Looking back on it, they probably knew some of our stuff and a couple of our calls. We had to change some things offensively, and you might have known some defensively too. But we held them to a field goal.
They get the field goal there. It's 21-17. You're down 4. That's a weird number to have in being down in football, because you can't get it unless you score a touchdown, obviously, or a couple of field goals, and you guys know that in the back of your head. Here you are near the end zone, and another solid breakaway run for Zaquandre White, getting you some breathing room as you were right on the goal line.
Well, and again, we were there because we didn't catch a punt and it rolled to the 1-yard line, and now we got to go 99 yards for a touchdown instead of 60 yards, and your percentages of scoring go down the closer you are backed up at your own end
Lots
zone.
of time for Cam. Decides not to run the football. Instead, will choose to, he could have run earlier, decides to run it late, and that puts you again in the hole, and then Brian Sneed to the outside. Great run again. Just these two backs that you've got this year, I don't feel like you've ever had a back that runs quite as physical as either of those guys.
Yeah, they do. They run with low pad level and do a really good job.
Corey Reed with a nice catch. They rule that ball down after it rolls away. Cam Thomas again to the outside, and he's starting to find his guys. Corey Reed's helmet comes off, so he'll have to step off the field for a play. You guys choose to throw it down the field, and it's, basically a center field ball for Dijon Walls, who makes his second interception of the day.
Yeah, so right there, that one, you have a turnover, and then we combat it with a 15-yard penalty, that whatever if it was or not, but so now you're giving them 15 more. It seems like that was what.
So we saw those plays during media days when we went down to Wichita for those, and the explanation by the officials down there was this new rule. They're trying to prevent crackback blocks. This new rule, I said it there, it's going to be misinterpreted, and you've had it twice in this game.
Yeah, it is. It's hard to, and you got some young officials, and they're not seeing the game the way an experienced official does.
There's a nice pass into the hands of Zion Perry to the far sideline. Again, the Reavers trailing by just 4 points here. Zion Perry again, late hit, missed, out of bounds on that far side. We talked about it during the game. You settle for the long field goal. It's 21-20. You're down a point. Got to get a stop here against Iowa Central in the fourth.
Yeah, this is where we need it. But again, we combat it with a 15-yard penalty that was not a penalty to get them to the 50 instead of the 35.
So the makers of the rules and the interpreters of the rules in the striped jerseys need to get on the same page.
Yeah,
I believe it's a good rule in concept. It's just not able to be interpreted on the field and when live play is going.
Yeah. That one right there is the fourth down. bought himself enough time, and they slipped past us again.
Little short slot receiver got wide open.
And we slip on, the two guys slip on that play. They throw a hitch and take it to the house. And you know, now we got to score and get a 2-point conversion, and we're backed up. I don't know if we had a penalty there or what on the kickoff return.
Well, 28-20, and Zaquandre trying to string it out, but again, the passing game really wasn't going, and it was Iowa Central that was able to kind of collapse on Zaquandre. Now you get it going as a nice catch on the outside by Deshaun Stoudemire. If this is the one where he falls down making the catch, oh no, this is the one to the sideline. Great toss by Cam Thomas. One of 2 fantastic throws and catches by that duo on this drive.
Yeah, you know, I mean, like I said, we had to make a couple big plays, you know, and here's a pretty good big catch.
Yeah, on his back, and he comes up with it, holds it up for the officials to see, and it was just out of the reach of Dijon Walls again. And then Zaquandre White pushes forward, still pushing forward, gets some help from Lou Dorsey as he was headed the wrong way, but Lou pushes him forward, and then Corey Reed makes a move, and then he again, Russ said it on the broadcast, it looked like he was waiting for contact as soon as he caught it, and they weren't there, so he had to kind of get his steam again. And then the 2-point conversion, bumped in the end zone, but that's not the play you wanted anyway, was it?
No, I mean, we had a run-pass option on the play, and looking at it, we probably should have ran it. You know, he had that option to throw there, and you know, they adjusted the way we didn't think they would, and,
Sure.
and you got to see that. But you know, the thing that probably burdens the most is that you want a chance. You know what I mean? Like at least a chance to do it. And that play was dead when we snapped it, and he was looking there. So
Sure.
If I could have one back, I'd have that one back and
Yep.
and done something else that we've already done. And but like I said, you get one shot at it, and then heat of the battle. And we thought that, I mean, we were kind of saving that one for a
Right.
situation like that, but we didn't execute it enough, and we got to do a better job of having our guys prepared for that situation.
Well, you've got a wall inside the Reaver Athletic Performance Center that lists everything, like different, you know, max weights and other performance that you've got. You need to start listing how many points that it's cost you a victory in the last 3 seasons. A 2-pointer 2 seasons ago, a 3-pointer last season, and now a 2-pointer this season with still 9 games to play. You've got a lot of road to hoe in front of you. But you can say it till you're blue in the face, 5 points, guys. Well, now it's 7 points.
Yeah.
7 points is all that's separating you from victories in your last 3 losses. And if you look at those numbers, what will help the guys understand it other than being part of it?
Yeah, it's so hard, you know. We stress it. It's an off season. You know, the little things. You know, my thing was we made some of the mistakes in the game. We made those mistakes in practice.
Sure.
So, you know, I got to do a better job. Our coach's got to do a better job of making sure that those get corrected. So when we're not watching it on film, all disappointed, you know, after the game. Like, we can't. That's our jobs as coaches. We can't allow that stuff to happen. And if it continues to, then we got to make some changes, some way, shape, or form, to get people to do it right. Because, you know, I don't like being. You almost wish in a game like that you get blown out.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? You get beat by 50. What the heck? You're way worse than them. But
Sure.
you know, we're in the games, and you know, we've won a lot of games like that too.
Absolutely.
This day was not meant to be from the beginning. I don't think. It just seemed like everything, you know, like I said, they'd get a play, we'd have a penalty to tack on another 15, or we'd get a run and it'd come back another 15, or and it wasn't that we were playing dirty and undisciplined calls. Some of them were questionable. Some of them were, you know, out of frustration, I guess. But you know, they got the breaks. You know, we have a designed call up front, and it's long yardage, and they run where we're weak in that. You don't generally run in that situation. So they had the right call. You got to give them credit. You know, like I told the team, I don't think the best team won, but the best team won that day. We didn't play our best, you know, and you have to be, because every single team is playing us like the national championship. I don't care what their record was. I don't care how good they are. We're going to get their best. We're not good enough to not play our best and come out on top against quality opponents.
Sure. Well, one of the bright spots on the day was running back Zaquandre White. He'll join us in the studio when we come back, as IWTV student Riley Teton will join the show. More right after this on the Coach Stroh Show on IWTV's Reaver Sports Network.
The Dr. John and Jean Marshall Wellness Center, opening summer of 2019. Iowa Western.
Find your path at iwcc.edu.
Listen to me. I am captain of the track team. And if I'm late,
She doesn't really think she's going to get out of here, does she?
Be nice. She's new.
Hello, is anyone there? Ugh!
Wow. Even from our standards, you look awful.
Oh, sweetie, what happened?
Me? My friend Becky got to talk to this super cute boy, and I tried to act like I wasn't jealous, but I so totally was. And then out of nowhere, this concrete barrier just popped up. Maybe it was a semi.
You mean you were driving?
Yeah. I mean, I know the whole eyes on the road thing, but this was a super important text. Maybe you have to know, Becky.
Texting? Great.
But it was only like 5 seconds, and I'm a really, really fast texter, so it wasn't even a big deal. Actually, has she texted me back yet? Wow, I get like no bars in this place. I wonder if they have Wi-Fi here.
From the studios of Iowa Western Television, this is the Coach Stroh Show. I'm Riley Teton. Saturday's loss was disappointing, but there's a new bright spot. Record-breaking running back, Secondre White. Thank you for being here.
Nice to meet you.
So first of all, you're from Florida, and you played for Florida State. So what brought you to Iowa Western when there's tons of great JUCOs in Mississippi and Florida?
I was at Florida State University. To be honest, something happened with my grades, and one of my coaches knew Coach Stroh, so he just knew it'd be a good fit for me to come here, and that was pretty much it.
So the loss was disappointing. So how have you and your groups been responding? Because there's a lot of game left. I think you have 9 games left on your schedule. Mm-hmm. So what are you guys doing to keep the morale up? Because in past seasons, they've had a loss, but they've responded well.
Just every day going to practice, coming out, giving good effort, making sure our assignments are sound, and it'll take care of itself, really.
So talking about your game specifically, you had a lot of holes open up, especially in the first half when they didn't really key in on the running game. So what's that like when you're having a great game?
Really just all credit to my linemen and, my team, just the front line blocking, doing their job, and then so they just making my job easier because they helping me out.
So last season you were at Florida State and you played linebacker, correct? Mm-hmm. So how's that been like a huge change for you since you're playing running back now at a junior college?
Well, when I was at Florida State, my freshman year, I was at running back. So I never played linebacker a day in my life. So really, I'm back to what I originally do.
So is there a certain player, past or present, NCAA or NFL, that you'd compare your game to?
To compare my game to, I like Saquon Barkley, but I would compare my game to just like how I play and Deion Sanders because he's from Fort Myers, Florida. He's from where I'm from, so yeah.
So you're a very physical player. We noticed that, all of us really noticed that this Saturday. How does that help your game? Do you like being a physical player?
Yes, I feel like because on the next level you got to be physical because it's going to be grown men. The next level you go to, so it's a physical game, so you got to get physical.
So, Quandre, thank you for being here.
No problem.
More at Coach Stroh Show after the break.
Okay, it's decision time. I want to experience a 4-year college in 2 years. I want to live on campus, but get to my career faster. I want to get started now. Find your path at iwcc.edu and get hands-on, real-world experience. Start now at Iowa Western.
Listen, you're my friend.
I noticed you haven't really been yourself recently.
Yeah, I feel like something's up.
How are you?
Are you okay?
Is there anything you want to talk about?
I just want to know how you're feeling.
And listen, even if you don't know what to say, I'm here to talk.
No matter what you're going through,
I just want you to know I'm here.
I've got your back. When you want to talk, I'm here.
From Council Bluffs, Iowa, in the studios of IWTV, this is the Coach Stroh Show. Not much time to lick your wounds, Coach. Hutch comes to town, and I tell you what, the top 4 in the NJCAA rankings fall from the preseason, and now Hutch finds himself, right where they want to be, and they want to come in and see what they can do. They haven't had much luck against you. One game at their place in a season that, was forgettable as far as Iowa Western standards go. What do you see out of the Blue Dragons this weekend?
Well, one, they're good. I mean, they were picked to win the Jayhawk. You know, I think the stressing point for us, one, we can't let the last game beat us twice. Sure. Number one, so we got to have a short memory. And number two, if we can't get motivated, if we think we're as good as we are, we got the number 1 team in the country. You want to make a statement. You know, people maybe are. My thing is there's a lot more people happy about the outcome on Saturday. And I don't mean people within our program or here, but there's across junior college world and across college football, there's a lot of people that are
leaves it wide open. Everybody loses early, and then you just pick them off as you go. Has that been a topic of discussion as you've kind of talked to the guys after the Iowa Central game?
I mean, we met Sunday, and I talked to them about that. You know, we're upset, but 1, 2, 3, 4 go down. And I said prior to the season, a 1 or 2 loss team very easily could be in this thing.
Sure.
And that's why the preseason rankings, you can throw them out the window. You know, there's so many variables in junior college football. But, you know, now there hasn't been many games in our time for a long time that we've been the underdog. We're the underdog this week, and that's the approach we're going to take. And what a great opportunity having, like I said, the new number 1 come to us, and you know we're going to find out what we're made of. We'll find out a lot about our team when practice hits this week and into that game Saturday.
All right. Well, good luck on Saturday. We'll
Appreciate
talk with you before the game. Head coach Scott Strohmeyer, a big home game this weekend. So head on out to Titan Stadium in Council Bluffs. Free tailgate starts at 11. Music from local performers. Pos bonus. Plus, we've got a cornhole tournament all set up, so be early and you could score yourself some cool Reaver swag. Wondering about ticket prices? Well, it's nonprofit day as well. 2 canned food items will get you 1 general admission ticket. So just bring them to the main gate and you'll get to cheer the Reavers on nonprofit day. Our pregame on 89.7 The River starts at 12:30. We'll have Reaver Vision's coverage of the game with the kickoff at 1 o'clock. Thanks again to running back Zaquandre White for stopping by, head football coach Scott Strohmeyer for being part of today's show as well, and of course for the crew producing today, and for Riley Teaton, I'm Jake Ryan. This has been another edition of the Stroh Show on Iowa Western Television, part of the Reaver Sports Network.